Hi, Ashley. I'm just responding to discussion board number 2 post. I find it very cool that you are able to look at the different qualitative methods and the theories and able to see that this story was, you could see a lot of similarities in the association with the grounded theory. That was really neat. That is not something that my mind went to. I didn't put that two and two together. So I find that very cool that you were able to do that, and props for that because it's pretty amazing. Some of the things that I reflected on and pulled away from the story that you kind of noted on too was the idea of like the persistent study that the professor was really encouraging and externally motivating the student on. To me it seems more that it was, the lesson wasn't so much, right, the lesson wasn't about the fish per se. The lesson was how to learn the lesson about the fish, and how like even that's very qualitative. I recall in part of the story, the professor was saying how the facts, can't remember the right wording, but the facts were just facts, and they weren't very useful. And I could totally be butchering this, but like they weren't very useful on their own. Which you kind of, to me, I can kind of really see that in quantitative study. It's like you're looking at the numbers and the data, but yeah, like that data by itself isn't very useful. And then it's until you get to be able to see how they're all interconnected in the bigger picture, then that's where like the facts are really useful, and you can put them to work, so to speak. And I totally saw that played out in this story, in the short story of, he was able to get all these, he was counting the scales and he's looking at this and looking at that and all the little things by themselves, but it wasn't until looking at that, and not in a comparing and contrasting manner, but just looking at it for what it was and going deeper and deeper and deeper into that specimen, all the depth and the wealth of information that he was able to get from that. And I noted in my discussion board post that to me it seemed like there was a switch in the students like processing when whichever day it was, I guess the second day, the professor was like, have you seen it? Do you see what I'm trying to get you to see? And the students, whereas before it was very like almost just tedious and overwhelmed and not getting it and frustrated, maybe some boredom, now it's like, no, I'm sure I don't see it, but I'm seeing a lot more of what I didn't see, or something like that. And just, how that perspective shifted of not so much this is boring and tedious, but it's like, oh, there's so much more that I know is out there now, and I haven't even gone below the iceberg type deal. So all of it just seemed very appropriate to qualitative research, and yes, thank you for your post.